Hello, everybody, and welcome to our stream. I'm your host, Anya, with Restream Team Austin, Texas. And joining me today is Phil from Team Elgato. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Hey, everyone. Happy to be here.
Awesome, awesome. I'm already seeing some cool chats coming in. So, this is a collaborative stream between the two brands, as Elgato mentioned already. Welcome, everyone. It's our collaborative stream with Restream. And I see a lot of comments coming in already. There is Lester saying hello, lots of folks from Elgato community. The cat, what's up? The dog, that's awesome. Good variety here. I feel early, yo. Oh, Restream and another cat. Hello, everybody. Greetings from Luxembourg. That's awesome. Hi, hello. You guys are so active today. Look at the Twitch folks. This is amazing. We can see them all coming in. Hello from Holland. Hello from Austin, Texas. Phil, where are you based today?
I am coming live to you from San Francisco. So it's
Awesome.
actually just 10 a.m. here. Very respectable time. I've had my coffee, so I'm all ready to go. I didn't get up early, though. I know some folks might have gotten up really early to get some Cyber Monday deals, or maybe we're up early last week for some Black Friday deals, but not me, not this time around.
Absolutely. So we will have a lot of cool things for you today, and that will include Cyber Monday sales, both from Restream and Elgato. So if you want to get news and updates about what kind of sales we're running today, please stick around till the end. And another good reason to stick around is a giveaway. So today we're going to give away a couple of face cams as well as annual subscriptions for Restream Professionals. So that is something that we will be announcing towards the end of the stream. And such a good variety. Look at this. We have hello from Florida, hello from Mexico.
And
Another hello
Toronto.
from Mexico. There is Toronto, which is awesome. Hi. And of course, shout out to Manchester United Kingdom, which is awesome. And I can see hello from UK. Whoops. Hello from Ottawa. This is all great stuff. Awesome. Well, so the conversation today is going to be around live streaming gear. So today we're talking about why you need to think about the gear, what kind of setup can really elevate the quality of your streams, and just the basics as well as advanced things that you need to know about streaming tools. So it's gonna be a really casual chat, and we want to make sure that you guys ask all the questions that you would like to ask us. So we have Elgato team here and Restream team. So a little bit about software and the easiest way to go live directly from your browser, as well as the essential gear to make you shine when you are live. Hello from Nigeria. This is awesome. Hello from New York. And yes, will Elgato Facecam be my first webcam? We'll see. That's a good
Maybe.
one. Maybe it is very, very possible. There's a hello from Slovenia. This is amazing. And this comment is really good because we are about to dive into all this video gear. Elgato Facecam is the best cam on the market. And it could only wish. Yes, I agree. And actually, we have a pretty cool setup today. We were talking about this earlier, how I am using a DSLR camera plus Elgato Cam Link, which we will be covering today as well in terms of how to elevate the quality of your video and like what options you have depending on your budget. And Phil is using Facecam, so that's kind of what we are going to be covering today. So you actually see the live demo of exactly what we're using and what we will be talking today. I love Facecam, says Bam Joe. Kazooie, that's
Since
awesome.
we're on the topic of Facecam, maybe I should call out right away that if you are on the fence about getting one or have been considering it, I think if you head over to Elgato.com right now, you can get a Facecam for $50 off. Um,
Absolutely. And this is a little link.
Suggest checking that out. Yeah. So if you go to our
Yeah.
Black Friday page, you'll see there you can check out with Facecam. When you add it to cart, it'll still give you the full price, but just go through the checkout flow, and then eventually it'll tell you that it's $50 off. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. $150 for a Facecam for this type of quality is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So let's just dive into this as folks are preparing their questions for us and about gear, of course, about Restream, about anything you'd like to know. I would like to kind of open up with the simple question about why live streaming gear needs to be reliable and easy to use. In today's world where live streaming and live streamers vary so widely between gamers and like very advanced setups, professional studios, corporate customers, all the way to individual entrepreneurs, churches, musicians, and just literally people from all backgrounds and all all industries. So why do you think it's essential to make sure that people can trust their gear, but also they are not overwhelmed or defeated by it?
It is kind of a tricky question in the sense that when you're live streaming or really creating any long form content, you're going to be live for many hours at a time, right? I think our live stream today, we just planned for 1 hour, but within that 1 hour, I need everything I have from my face cam to my microphone to all the audio. Everything just needs to work for that 1 hour. Um, However, I also myself will live stream sometimes for 5 hours, 6 hours, 7, 12, right? And so when you have gear that needs to be on for that amount of time, it just needs to work, and you can't really be thinking about, oh, if I switch from one scene to another, is this thing going to come back, or is this going to break, or is my computer going to overheat in this amount of time, or again, the example being face cam, is my face cam going to overheat? We actually have a really big heat sink in there to make sure that it doesn't, because it does get very warm, but we had to make sure that there's enough cooling in there so that you can have it on for literally like 12 hours or 24 hours at a time, or even longer for that matter, and it's just going to continue working. Um, Same thing again kind of goes with software too, right? There's some software that it'll just crash if it stays on for too long. Maybe there's some sort of a buffer, something happens, it fills up right over time, it just kind of breaks down. But if you're live streaming, you're going to be live for 12 hours at a time. Okay, you can't really have your like RAM fill up because there's like a memory leak or something like that. So it's really critical to ensure that the tech that you are using is reliable, working well, and in the end, just, does what you need it to do. The complicated part, or rather what you mentioned about it being user-friendly, I mean, that's kind of a given, but it very much runs along with that. There's some software that it is very powerful, it can do a lot of things, and it might be super stable, but just setting it up and even getting to that first like starting point is actually more complicated than like using it live then. And that can be kind of scary for a lot of you guys out there. I know in my day when I like was now I'd like to keep my stream a little bit simpler, but when I was exploring a little bit more and trying out different software and different things, I was like trying to be all geeky and nerdy and just figure everything out. And now I'm like, I just want it to work. I just want to plug my stuff in, click go live, and I just want it all to work. Like I'm hitting that point.
Yeah, and it's a good point to hit, and it's a good place to be because in the end of the day, what I hear a lot from people when they come to Restream and they say, "Hey, I'm not very experienced. I'm just a beginner. I I really want it to work, but I don't know much about this. How do I go about it?" I always like to tell them that the most important thing that you need is not the gear. The most important thing that you need for going live is already within you. It's the community that you work so hard to build, and it's the message that you have to deliver. So the gear needs to be supporting of that big
Yep.
goal and mission that you're having, not something that you need to worry about in addition to what you have to say, how to include a community into the conversation, and in all these other million things that you have to think about. So gear has to be your friend, not kind of like your opponent, so to say, when you're trying to go live. And I think this is why people in general love Elgato products, because they are helpful. They are easy to use. They're easy to start. They're affordable and accessible. And they give you a whole variety of opportunities to have different qualities of your sound, of your audio and video, which is what we are going to be diving in today. And I overlaid our chat just so everyone can see everybody. I think it's really amazing how Restream allows you to basically show you all the chats, all the comments from different places. So we see people from Facebook, hello from Tijuana, Mexico, people from Twitch, people from LinkedIn, and everyone is kind of able to see each other's comments and kind of interact and react with it to one another, which I think is really cool. So I think it's about time to talk about the elevating the quality of your live video with Facecam. So this is a great example of how to get really good quality of your stream, of your video specifically, without necessarily breaking the bank or going through just excruciatingly complex setup. You think about the studios of professional TV channels, you have all those black magic cameras and like crazy stuff that goes with them. And yes, the quality is there, it's beautiful, but in the end of the day, that's an overkill for most people. So, and then you have Facecam, right, which is amazing, high quality camera that is compact, small, and easy to use. So, Phil, do you want to tell us a little bit more about that? And if you would like to share your screen or show anything, any kind of demo of how exactly it looks, how it works, you're welcome to do that as well.
All right. Yeah, no, I think the really nice part about demoing Facecam is how easy it is, because I actually can just sit here and talk to you guys and you can see, how good the quality is. But no, our approach, we Facecam was the result of many, many years of essentially working with creators and thinking about when Elgato, when we go into the market with our first ever camera, what do we want that to be? What do we want to offer? And I think the solution that we came up with in the Facecam, which again, as a reminder, I think you can get it for $150, or rather, you can get it for $50 off right now at Elgato.com. We came up with a really, really nice solution, something that addresses some of the main problems that webcams have had. So, for example, every time you restart your computer, you turn it on again, you load up your software, you add it into Restream, and then the settings are reset. Maybe you adjusted the sharpness or the brightness of the camera. All that stuff always resets, and so that was one of the main complaints we heard, is that all these cameras out there, they always reset their settings. So we thought, okay, well, how can we solve that problem? And we did that by building an actual like flash memory onto Facecam that you can save the settings to. Another one is that a lot of cameras out there have essentially autofocus, and that it's nice because you can hold something up close to the camera and then move it away. However, the problem is that in most streaming setups, mine included here, I'm sitting at a very like kind of like same distance pretty much the entire time. And what these cameras do is they'll end up what's called focus hunting. So essentially, they're kind of like blurring you in and out, constantly trying to figure out where you're in focus and if you're not. And even just moving your head back and forth like this would cause that. And so with Facecam, we actually have a fixed focus. And what that means is that there's no, like the focus distance is a set distance. And we optimize that for one where you're sitting at your desk, you're in front of a monitor. You've got like, I don't know, there's like 2 feet of distance between me and the camera right now. And this is like that optimized distance. So you're going to be super sharp. It's going to look super good. There's going to be no like weird focus hunting, blurring, anything like that. Another optimization we made is being able to it was an optimization in the sense that we don't have a microphone on the Facecam. And so this is one of those things where if you think about it, it actually makes total sense. At first glance, you might say, wait, doesn't that mean that, I'm missing a microphone? I don't have audio. That's one feature not on the camera. Yes and no. The reason it's a no is because, the microphone I'm talking into is actually right here. And so, it sounds like I'm very close. The audio quality is really good. My Facecam or my camera is going to be really far away on the monitor. So if I were to start talking, it would sound like I'm kind of over here. It's not going to sound great. There's going to be background noise. And really, I mean, a webcam mic, how good can that be? And so we thought, well, okay, why don't we take that out, because there are better solutions out there, and we invest what we can in terms of the space that we save, and in turn also the money, is we invest that into something like a dedicated and a custom-built lens. So we have an 8-element lens on the Facecam that just makes the quality much, much higher. It's an all-glass lens, so most lenses out there are plastic. Glass is better, so you don't have as much chromatic aberration. Basically like warping of the lens and stuff like that. And so, yeah, there's just this is like basically taking all of the feedback and all of the comments we heard about what like the best creator webcam could be, and we put that into this package that we call Facecam. And one of the really cool things as well is I don't have a desktop share set up, but what I can do is we have a Camera Hub app that essentially allows you to control all of the settings of Facecam, as well as save the settings, as I had mentioned previously. So for example, in my setup right now, if I decided that, oh, I need to zoom in a little bit, I can do that. If I need to adjust my contrast, right, I want it to be a little bit more punchy. I want those, the colors to pop a little bit more. I can turn that up or down, or the saturation, right? I can change all of that. And then once I'm happy, I can then save those settings. Another really cool thing is the exposure. So this is something that, Anya, as a DSLR user, you'll be familiar being able to make it so that there's no like auto exposure. So having full manual control of your settings, right? You have your lights set up, you have your studio, you have your room, nothing's changing about that. And so you can dial in the exact precise like ISO, shutter speed, and you can do the same thing with the Facecam. And that's actually one of the, I think Facecam is the only webcam that'll allow you to control not only the shutter speed, but also the ISO. So I can set this to manual mode, and now I can control the shutter speed and the ISO. So if I wanted to go down a little bit darker on the shutter speed, now I could bump up the ISO. Of course, you don't want that. You really want the opposite. You want a faster shutter speed, okay, a bit too fast, and then lower the ISO that we get better quality. You also have manual wipe-ons. Basically, the story with the Facecam is that anything that you want to manually control or basically set and forget, you have those capabilities. Nothing is forced on you to be, it doesn't have to be automatic. Um, and yeah, so again, you can get it for 50 bucks off right now. It's a killer deal. And oh, hey, Nutty, how's it going? Good to see you here.
I know, right? That's awesome. Here we
And
go.
yeah, that's Facecam.
Couldn't agree more. That's awesome. Yeah, this is great. And there's so many comments about the shutter and ISO control. And you just did a great demo showing how easily it is controlled just in the middle of the stream, because sometimes certain things can change. I definitely can relate to the times when back in the days when I used the sun from the window as my light before I purchased an awesome Elgato key lights. I was kind of dependent on my window, and it would be really cool if I could control that as the sun goes away and appears again on a cloudy day. So and the saturation was really cool, because that's also something that you might want to change occasionally depending on the type of your stream. This is so good. Yeah, so many cool things. Hi, Nutty. Good to see you. We actually partner with Nutty as well on Restream side of things.
Oh, well, there you
And
go.
good to see him. Definitely big hello. Yeah, and people were mentioning there are a lot of there's definitely a lot of flexibility that Facecam is giving you. And there was an interesting comment also about how the microphone, yes, at the end of the day, says Black Ghost. At the end of the day, it would be a ways to add mic to cameras these days. Because there's so many great microphones that you would want to buy, and it does make sense to separate the two. So that's actually a really good thing to note. All right, so lots of questions about Cyber Monday sales and great deals. Is Cyber Monday? It's Cyber Monday. What sales we got on Elgato? So actually, just as Phil mentioned earlier, they do have a wonderful Black Friday sale. You just need to go to elgato.com, and pretty much right there, there's Black Friday sale deals. So you can click and explore different things. So Facecam is $50 off, and I believe there's some other deals there
There
as
are a
well.
couple others, yeah. As long as supplies last, so don't wait. If you've been, again, on the fence or, then this might
Yeah.
be the right time.
This is the time, definitely. And if you stick around till the end of the stream, we will be choosing 2 lucky users that commented. We will be choosing them from comments. So if you're just watching, you won't be able to win, unfortunately, but we will choose a random commenter, chatter for the Facecam and a Restream Professional for a year. So there will be 2 winners. So keep messaging us. Speaking of Black Friday on Restream side of things, we are also running a Cyber Monday sales. It's 50% off all annual plans today. So you can just go on restream.io and find that deal. Or if you're checking out, you can use this BFCM, which stands for Black Friday and Cyber Monday 2021, to get pretty big percentage, 50% off any annual plan. That's the biggest sale of the year that we ever do. So the Black Friday is kind of our jam, as well as Cyber Monday. Awesome. So
I saw a question that I wanted to answer really quickly on the
yeah.
topic, which is, can you add those settings to Stream Deck? And I think by those settings, this person means the changing all the different values of Facecam. And the answer to that is yes. So we do have a Stream Deck plugin for Facecam. So you can change all of the different settings on the fly. Again, if you're next to a window and you need to change your exposure, your shutter speed, ISO, compensation, contrast, all that stuff, you can change all of that directly on your Stream Deck if you have one, just by tapping a key, so you can adjust it on the fly. It's awesome.
Awesome. And there are people who say they just got my Stream Deck from Elgato, which is awesome. So now all those things integrate. And there's a question about the deal being for new customers or existing customers. So if we're talking about Restream, it's going to be new customers or existing if they're upgrading. So if you are, for example, in standard plan right now and you want to upgrade to Pro, the 50% discount will still apply to you, as well as Pro to Premium, Premium to Business. So if you're going up, the deal will still apply even if you're existing customers. And of course, for all new customers, it's going to be applicable as well. So for Elgato, I believe it doesn't really matter if you're buying it first, or second, or fifth Facecam, you will still get those $50 off. So I think the answer is both existing and new customers. Awesome. All right. So many great questions and so many great comments, such as Elgato ecosystem is the best. I'm going to start this comment because I really like it. It's very truth. Tens Elgato purchase. That is hilarious. Oh, the chat is running so actively. The
Yeah, it's
box
hard to
is
keep
just
up with all the questions.
yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I just got my Restream annual plan. This is awesome. And all right, I this is another one. Yeah, I got a Stream XL. Can't afford the cam. Well, now you have the opportunity to win it or get it with a good discount. So stay tuned. Keep it coming. So let's talk a little bit about. So we kind of like covered the Facecam thing pretty well here. Let's talk a little bit about DSLR. So some folks are pretty stuck on the idea that they want the quality of DSLR, and I'm going to just maximize myself for just a second so you can see the quality. So I'm using Canon iOS. I believe it's T8i. And of course, in order to make it work with my Restream, I have to use Elgato's Cam Link. So basically, what Cam Link does, it tricks my computer into thinking that my big deal DSLR is actually a webcam. So that's what Cam Link is doing. It's basically kind of a capture card. And it's super easy to use. It's very affordable. I don't know if you have any special deals on that one running right now, but we purchased it a couple of years ago and never looked back. It really gives me the opportunity to have super high quality video, and there's no delay between my audio and video. As you can see, I tried all kinds of different connectors, so to say, or adapters between cameras, and Elgato is the only one that pretty much gives you no delay if your camera is relatively up to date. So, talk to me a little bit about cam links. Like, what are some special things and some pros of using DSLR with cam link versus the web camera?
So, I mean, the Cam Link is just the simplest way of getting better, like even higher video quality, right? I mean, we just talked about Facecam, and you mentioned how you've plugged in your high-end camera into your Cam Link, but essentially, uh, as creators, we always want even more quality, right? Not at the expense necessarily of our technical sanity, right? We still want it to be easy. And so Cam Link is this little plug and play like USB dongle that you just plug it in, and essentially any camera that you have that has an HDMI output can turn into a webcam. This, the important thing here is that, so for example, Facecam is a 1080p 60 web camera. There are a lot of cameras out there that, or most of them these days, if you get a newer one, that'll also output 1080p 60. The difference there is, the Facecam is this small little web camera, whereas on a DSLR, you can have a lens that's about this long, and it's massive. It's got all this dedicated processing, and being able to use that on stream is something that people had been wanting to do for a while. And so the Cam Link just allows you to essentially do that. It's really simple. There's nothing to it. It's just an HDMI input, USB output, and you plug in if you have a compatible camera. And that's actually generally the biggest hurdle here is finding a camera, especially if an older one, and figuring out if it works or not. Not every camera, because DSLR, they're kind of meant for photography, right? So not every camera, at least if we're talking like 4 or 5 years ago, would output either a clean HDMI signal, one without overlays, or sometimes they would force the autofocus box to be on all the time, or they would output at a lower resolution, something like 720p or even 480. Nowadays, if you get like a more modern camera from the last like 3 or 4 years ago, you're probably pretty safe there. But this is actually something where we invested some time in, because even for us internally, we were thinking like, man, how do we know which cameras will work with the Cam Link and which won't? And so we put together this database of cameras, and we have that on the Elgato website. So if you, for example, want to use your DSLR that you have laying around, and check if it's working before you actually go out and say purchase a Cam Link, then you can go to our website, and we have a big long list of cameras from all different manufacturers. Sony, Canon, Panasonic. I mean, all these different ones. You can check if it's compatible. If it's not, what the issues are with it. That being said, we talk about only DSLRs. It's not just DSLRs, right? You can also use things like GoPros. So for example, if you have an old GoPro laying around, you can use that, which is already going to offer you better video quality, right? Because the GoPro, they invest a lot of time into making sure that your action shots look good. So hey, during a live stream, you'll look good as well. Yeah, so it's really just a simple way to essentially make anything that you have look like a webcam on the computer. And in terms of the quality, I mean, it does 1080p 60, it does 4K 30. So if you, again, have like a newer like Sony or Canon camera that can output 4K 30 over HDMI, it's going to be really, really crisp.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are using something like Restream and you have a professional plan that allows you to stream in full HD, then on all platforms, you're going to have the best quality possible. And also in your recording, you will have actual full HD, just the same quality as you would have in your camera, downloadable for repurposing. Lots of great comments on. Yeah, there was a question if all DSLRs are compatible. So Phil, you already covered that. There is a great database on Elgato website, so you can check in if you're looking to purchase a camera or if you already have one, and you just try to make sure that's going to be working with Elcam. And there are great comments on how DSLR mirrorless cameras require an HDMI output in order to work. So that's an important one. And also, I see that there are comments about how mirrorless cameras are getting more popular than DSLRs. That makes sense.
Yep.
And that's you're right. There are all kinds of cameras that are actually very good quality, but not necessarily DSLR. And a lot of them are a little bit easier to set up. I believe Sony ZV is one of those kind of like good quality, easy to use cameras with its own kind of I believe some kind of a software that you can download and use. But yeah, I personally prefer Cam Link because software is good, but when you have a cable connecting, I think it kind of gives you a little bit more peace of mind in terms of.
Yeah, the camera manufacturers definitely, we've actually been working with them, so we're actually in contact with Sony and Canon and some of the others, and we got a bunch of cameras. I bring this up because Tim mentioned that the list on Elgato.com might be a little bit out of date. So we're always updating that camera compatibility list, and we also have a feedback form. So for example, if you have a camera that's not on the list that you have and and you've tested it, please let us know. And if you see a camera that that you want, but you don't see it on the list, then you can also request that we test it. So we're constantly updating that list, improving on it, making sure that the information is correct. And yeah, it's exciting. And yeah, there's tons of options now coming from these, coming from Sony. Like the ZV-1, I think, is a great example of basically them recognizing as well that not everyone does want to spend like $1,500 on a camera. They'd rather get something, like a mirrorless option that has like just a great built-in lens, and then use that for much more, I would say, affordable. Now, affordable is a different range for everyone, but a much more affordable price.
Yeah, it's a big difference because I remember when we purchased this Canon, it was close to $2,000, which at that time that is still pretty much the most
Yep.
expensive piece of equipment that I have in my current Restream studio. And Sony ZV is something that we purchased for our other studio in Ukraine, in Kiev. So Kiev Light has the ZV, and it was, I believe, around $600. So it's quite a difference, and definitely with all the Black Friday sales and Cyber Monday deals, I would say, yeah, now is the time. And I see a lot of really cool comments here. I love the urgency. Ordering the Cam Link tonight. This is good. This is take action now, right? And of course, there is, I assume mirrorless cameras would also work. Yes, they would work with Cam Link as long as they have HDMI cable or output, correct?
Yep.
So awesome.
Yeah, we just use DSLR as kind of like it's kind of like when you say DSLR, it really means more than that, right? It also means mirrorless. It also means like action cameras. So DSLR is just that like kind of keyword, but really it's pretty much any camera that has an HDMI output.
Absolutely. And there is, of course, a question about EpocCam, which is near and dear to me because first time Phil and I did a stream last year, it was pretty much dedicated entirely to EpocCam because at that time that was your newest product, the coolest thing. We thought it was really elegant solution to empower people to use their phones as the cameras because a lot of people have really good quality cameras already in their pocket. And do you want to comment on that real quick for those people who are not sure what that is and how that works, and if EpocCam is still something that people are looking into these days?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the best cameras that you can have is actually the one you have on you. I know it's kind of like a cliche saying, but if
Right
you're like out
here.
and about and it's like, oh, I wish I had this great camera. Well, it's like the best one you have is the one that you actually have in your pocket. And that's your iPhone. And so we developed an app called EpocCam that lets you use your iPhone as a web camera. So all you do is you launch the app EpocCam on your phone, and then on your desktop. So for example, here in Restream, I would select EpocCam as my input, and then over Wi-Fi or cable, if you want to, you can then use your phone camera. And obviously your phone, right, your iPhone's got a ton of technology in there to make sure that the camera looks good. And it works really, really well. So this is great as kind of a starter option. I think EpocCam is like $7.99 or yeah, $7.99, like $8 on the App Store, like a one-time purchase. So it's a great option to just get started with a camera that's going to be really high quality. Or if you want to walk around a little bit. So let's say you are more of a creative person and you want to, I don't know, you're like painting minifigures or doing art, or let's say you're doing a cooking stream or something like that, or even a podcast where you want to move the camera around a little bit more. You can do that all with EpocCam because it's wireless. So you can just, hold it up with your hand, walk around, show people your setup, that sort of thing. That speaking of, let me see if I can get it to work right now. If I just pull
Yeah,
it up here.
as we catch up with some more comments and questions. Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of behind the scenes streams that used EpocCam, at least within Restream. Cooking show is definitely a great example when they use some kind of a
Let's
professional
see.
camera on them and then EpocCam on the food, right? Like on the stove, and all kinds of behind the scenes photography shows. Like this is what I do. This is my studio, and this is me basically doing the settings. Here we go.
There it
Awesome.
is.
Let me
So now I'm
maximize
using
you.
EpocCam here. So you can see using my phone, using the selfie camera right now. So I could walk around now, show it off, show off my setup if I wanted to. And yeah, so it's a great option. And then I can just switch back here to the face cam. And yeah, that is how simple it is to use. So EpocCam again is like a great starting option, and it goes back all the way to like the iPhone like 6, and I think it's like the iPhone 6 is like the earliest one. So essentially, yeah, that's how it
Yeah.
works.
So yeah, no need to purchase anything else. You already have the best video quality you can get. And I see that Just Haggerty says iPhone 8 and EpocCam LOL works great. So that's awesome. There was a question here about EpocCam that I thought would be interesting. And I think that's a question about Androids. So I don't know, Phil, if you're ready for that, but
Okay,
the
yes.
people have spoken. Is there going to be an EpocCam for Android eventually?
I I would love to give you guys like a more definitive answer on this, but it is the old thing of, can't really give you a comment on what our plans are. We obviously we see the feedback, we hear the feedback. We know there's a lot of you guys out there who use Android. Of course, anything we do, we want to make sure that it upholds like our quality standards. So we're not just gonna, put something out on Android and kind of call it a day. No, I mean it will be a great experience. And so keep sending in your feedback and keep telling us what you guys want. If that's EpocCam for Android, keep letting us know. I just can't
Yeah.
unfortunately say, exactly what we're doing right now, or I can't give you a yes or no answer. Just keep telling
Right.
us what you guys want to see.
Yeah, and I think the more people reach out, at least how it works at Restream, like we are very sensitive to the community feedback. And if there's something that people ask on a regular basis and more people are kind of sharing their input and insights on the fact that they want something and the reasons why they want it, that gives their stories, share specific setups and say, hey, you know what, this is really helpful because I'm on PC or my Android is kind of like really way to go. I think that's the best way to start moving forward towards that goal, because I'm sure Elgato product team will listen as well. So definitely continue providing your feedback. That should help.
I think we
Um,
actually have I'm gonna type the link in the chat and our Twitch chat, but I think we have like a feature request form, so you guys can fill that out and leave all your feedback there for us, and then our team takes a look. And yes, we go through every single one, believe it or not.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I see there's some comments there that say that certain experiences with certain phones, it does not always look good. I always like to tell people when they talk about phones in general for live streaming that in the end of the day, this little guy is kind of small for live streaming, right? Like so it's not very powerful machine, whether you think about it as a camera or a live streaming device altogether. Of course, a computer is much more powerful, and of course, something like Facecam or mirrorless or DSLR camera plus Elgato Cam Link are going to give you more stable quality because those things are designed to be cameras. This is more of a workaround and detour. So that's something to keep in mind. But it's a great workaround for those people who want to elevate the quality of their camera from, let's say, the camera that they have in their laptop and are not
Yep.
necessarily ready to invest in a big camera. So still, that phone is probably going to look and work better than whatever you have as a built-in. So definitely explore, try different things, try to make sure you're on good high-speed internet, especially if you're using web browser type solutions like Restream, because a lot of times people say, hey, my camera is not ideal. Well, maybe your internet connection is not ideal, and that's what affects the quality of your camera. So there are a lot of little variables in there, a lot of pieces of puzzle to consider. But it's a great starter option, though, as many people have mentioned. So I would like to move forward and move to audio, because here at Restream, we always like to say that your audio potentially is more important than your video when you think about live streaming, which is kind of counterintuitive, because you think of live streaming as primarily video experience. And it is so, it is very true. However, the video quality a lot of times is more, the audio quality, apologies, is actually more critical to live streaming. And there are several reasons for that. First of all, in general, people are much more forgiving to imperfect live video, but they are not going to be putting up with bad audio, because it's really disrupting. It's really hard to follow the stream if the audio is bad. The second reason is a lot of people are experiencing the live stream, including this live stream. And folks, if you want to wave or like say something in the chat, if you are doing exactly that, if you're experiencing this live stream as a podcast, so basically that means that you have this tab open, but you have another tab open where you're doing something else. So give us a little wave if that's you, because I always like to see how many people are doing that in real time, because it's very common, especially folks who are watching on LinkedIn, like business professional people. They might be doing something else. So that's why audio is the key. So it is critical to have it good. What are some ideas that Elgato has in terms of good audio? Where people start and what people should be looking into?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I totally agree with the sentiment that audio is like the number one thing, because you could have pretty bad video quality, but at least if your live stream or your content generally is just pleasant to listen to, you can do things like you just mentioned of like having it in the background. And I know in my own experience, I do that a lot when I'm working throughout the day. I do want to have a live stream on in the background. It's almost like a radio at that point. If the mic is bad, or if there's a lot of background noise, or you can hear everything they're typing, that's not great. People don't want to hear that. Um, and I mean, it really starts first of all with the audio that you get in, right? You want a good source audio. And so there, we have for people who know Elgato, you're probably familiar with our Wave lineup of products, right? We've got the Wave 1, the Wave 3, and then our most recent addition, the Wave XLR. So really multiple solutions kind of at every point that you're at. So if you're just starting and you're like, I want my first ever microphone, what do I need there? We've got the Wave 1. If you're looking to upgrade that a little bit, there's the Wave 3. And then if you're looking to use something that's really more high end, and if you want to use like a high end XLR microphone, then you can use the Wave XLR. One of the kind of unique things, though, is that with our microphones, you do get software along with the hardware. So when you purchase a Wave product, you're not just getting this piece of hardware, you put it down, you plug it in, and that's that. You get Wavelink with it. Now, Wavelink is this really, really easy to use, but also powerful software that essentially allows you to route audio from different applications to different audio output mixes. I'm actually using one right now. I'm using a microphone effects mix. So this is essentially a audio mix that only has my microphone in it, and it includes VSTs, which is part of our upcoming Wavelink 1.4 release. So I actually have a noise gate on here, and I've got some other effects on here, so that way only you guys can hear it. I don't hear it myself. I don't like hearing my own voice. I don't know if that's weird. Anya, do you do that? Do you listen to your own voice, or do you monitor or not?
I try to avoid it at all costs, but apparently there's actually I'm seeing some really fun comments, such as this one. For example, do you have a mic that will help me have your accent? I'm assuming it's because of me, because I'm the accent one here. So apparently, for the longest time, I was really self-conscious about the accent, and I was like, I have no place in live streaming because people don't even understand what I'm saying. But then I learned that it's actually a little unique thing that I have, right? Like I stand out. I'm different because I have this generic European accent that no one can actually place. Like, where is it exactly from? But we do have some other cool effects that we might be demoing today that Wave microphones are offering today. So are we are we ready for that?
Yes, yeah. Well, so kind of going back to it, before I jump into the whole audio effect stuff, these different mixes, again, that was like creator feedback we heard, is that I want to control, Spotify, my music, or maybe not Spotify, but one of those like royalty-free platforms, And I want to control my voice chat and my game and basically the stream effects, basically everything as like a separate. I want control of everything separately, so that way I can adjust all the levels and then output that to like maybe a mix that I hear and then a mix that the stream hears, and then I have my chat mix. So there's all the different mixes, and so Wavelink makes that really, really easy. And we launched that. Obviously, it's been a great success, and then the question was, okay, where do we take Wavelink next? And overwhelmingly, the response there was, we want audio effects. So essentially being able to add in things like noise suppression, noise gate, compressor, EQ, right? All those little things that can give you that edge in audio quality. You can now do that with Wavelink 1.4. Now, I will preface this with our Wavelink 1.4 update is currently in beta testing. So if you hop over to the Elgato Discord, you can find the beta there. You can try it out for yourself. But essentially what this allows you to do is you can add different audio effects to any of the mixes that you want, or rather any of the inputs that you want. So right now I've got a simple noise gate. A noise gate just turns off my sound when I'm not talking and then turns it on when I do talk. It's literally a gate. Like if there's an audio threshold, it opens, lets my voice through. If I'm quiet, it closes the gate, no more sound. But if I wanted to add, let's see here. If I wanted to add a, let's see, was this under? Oh yeah, if I want to sound like a chipmunk, I can simply add
like essentially a voice changer here, and now I sound like a chipmunk. And so this is only going out to you guys. I don't hear it. Only you guys hear it because you're listening to the microphone effects mix, which I've got going into Restream. So that's great.
I can also,
change it to be lower if I wanted to, so maybe I sound more evil, that sort of thing.
So that's kind of a very obvious effect, but there's some non-obvious ones. For example, using a compressor and making sure that whenever like I talk quietly or I talk too loudly, that the audio doesn't kind of peak or essentially blow out your ears. Or I could do things like adding an EQ. So if I want more of that radio voice, that like kind of DJ, like, hey, I'm, that podcast tone that you might be familiar with, I can add an EQ, which adds a little bit more to the low end in my voice. Or if I have more harsh S's, I can use like a de-esser to take out those harsh S sounds, right? All of these little things that in the end, when you combine them, they amount to just having really, really great audio. The really cool thing is that VSTs there are lots that are paid for, but there are also lots that are free, and these can be made by essentially anyone. It's like a industry standard audio plugin. So there's thousands and thousands and thousands of these out there, and you can just go and find them. Again, they kind of vary in quality. Some are a little bit better. Again, some are free, some are paid for. And you can install them, and then you can add them right in Wavelink. And then you can use them in something like Restream. So this is just a really, like, it's going to be a fantastic update. The best part is it's free. So like if you bought a Wave 1, say a year ago when it first came out, a little bit more than a year now at this point, then you get this update for free. Now you have VST effects along with the audio routing. And that's something that at Elgato for us is kind of core, is that we're always iterating on the features that you get. So even though you purchased the product maybe a year or 2 years ago, we're always going to be updating it with new features and making sure that you get cool new stuff added. So it's
New stuff all
it's
around.
really exciting.
Yeah, there are a couple of questions about this. I think they're really, really interesting and good ones. Here's one. Does Wavelink software require an Elgato mic, or can I use it with another mic? That's a good one.
It does require a Elgato, like a Wave microphone initially, just connected to your PC, because a lot of that audio mixing and that processing happens inside of the driver of the microphone. That being said, though, you can use additional microphones within Wavelink, so even non-Elgato microphones. You can add them as inputs into Wavelink, but you do need, just to essentially use Wavelink, you do need a Wave microphone.
As a start, at least one. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And of course, our classic and favorite, is it going to integrate with Stream Deck? Can you use those effects on the Stream Deck?
Absolutely, yeah. So you'll be able to toggle on and off your effects, and we're going to be expanding that. You obviously have your volume controls. And yeah, it's this is really just having these effects in there and being able to use them is just the start, and then we're going to be expanding on the Stream Deck functionality from there. So at first it's going to be a simple on-off toggle, which is already, I think, really powerful considering that you have one touch control of your different effects, and yeah, it goes from there.
And
I'm
one last,
excited.
yeah, this is so good. This is great stuff. And great question, guys. Keep them coming. Can you use multiple wavelength mics on a single computer? That's actually a really important one because, yes.
That is currently a no. You cannot use multiple, again, because we do a lot of fancy audio mixing and routing and all that fun stuff. You can only use one, but we are looking into letting you use multiple. That, of course, that use case is kind of like, okay, my setup, for example, would I have multiple? No. This is more if you're talking about maybe going over to a friend's house, doing a podcast, that sort of thing. But for now, it's just one.
Awesome. Awesome. There are lots of questions about Stream Deck that we will definitely dive into. I'm starting all of those questions so we don't lose them. Just one last thing as we are here on the audio topic, just to kind of break it down for people who are relatively new to all this, I would like for you, Phil, to talk a little bit about the difference between XLR and USB mics. So a lot of Elgato mics have two options, right? When you purchase a microphone, you can just plug in with USB, so plug and play, my favorite thing for people who are new to live streaming or people who are not very technical. And you can also use an XLR, which will require an audio interface, which, for example, I here use a Focusrite. That's one of my favorite audio interfaces. There are several other brands that offer interfaces as well. And yeah, like how would you break down the difference? Where do people typically start, and what are the pros and cons of each?
So it really comes down to simply what your use case is. In terms of like, is there a innate quality difference? Like, is a USB mic just worse than an XLR microphone or vice versa? The simple answer to that is no. Both of them are identical. Like if you had a, let's say a super high end, like a Shure SM7B, there's the XLR variant of that, which is I think the only one they have. And you turn that into like a USB microphone, all you're doing is you're essentially taking that audio interface component that most people have externally. Like you just mentioned, you have the Scarlett, right? I'm using a Wave XLR, right? Those components that are outside of the mic are simply being added into the microphone. So if you have a USB microphone, that XLR connection, and I'm simplifying here greatly, by the way, but essentially that's all just inside of the microphone. It's all just being made super compact. What that means is, again, you get a super compact microphone, and there's more features right on the device itself. However, if you wanted to, change up the sound quality, then, well, you have to buy a whole new microphone. If you get an XLR microphone, the nice thing is XLR cables can be much longer than, say, USB cables can be. And also you can then, buy an audio interface, and then you can buy a microphone, and then you could upgrade the interface separately. Then you could upgrade the microphone separately, right? So you essentially have more flexibility there. That's really what it comes down to, is the flexibility. In terms of, again, if somebody's like, is there a real quality difference between the two? Technically, no. It's simply down to the components that are being used within the two different, within the USB microphone and the XLR microphone. That being said, it comes down to, again, your use case. So for example, if you're just starting out, something like a Wave 1, it's a USB microphone, you plug in one cable, you're good to go, right? However, if you already have a higher end XLR microphone that you want to use, well, then there's something like the Wave XLR, which is an option for you. So you can convert that, and then you get all the benefits of the Wavelink software. Which I did want to mention as well. I believe we currently have a sale up to 20 or even 25% on the Wave 3 and some of our microphone arms as well. So if you head over to elgato.com, you'll see our Black Friday sales there, and you might be able to pick up your next piece of audio gear from there for a nice discount. So I do suggest checking that out.
Absolutely, yes. And people say yes to mic arm. That's actually really, really helpful. I'm actually thinking about getting that for myself as one of those Christmas presents. Folks are using Bluetooth microphones as well. That is from YM News one. We can use Bluetooth mic, reporter mic. That's actually an interesting one too. I'm usually much more trusting cables than Bluetooth, because Bluetooth has a tendency to be moody occasionally, at least in my world.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm definitely a cable person versus Bluetooth, but that's actually an option as well. And yeah, especially if you're moving around a lot, if you're kind of on the go, Bluetooth mics are great. And Tez Monkey says the main difference is actually, when it comes to mics, it's not XLR versus USB. it's dynamic versus condenser. Yes, so we're talking about like the ease of setup for folks who are relatively new. A lot of you guys are professional gamers or professional creators. You probably have a lot of experience with microphones and audio interfaces versus some new people who are just kind of figuring this stuff out might be like, oh my gosh, like I understand how to connect something with USB into my computer, but anything beyond that sounds way complex. So for those people, those are the differences that we wanted to break down. But yes, absolutely, there are a lot more things. Just like Phil was saying, we were kind of simplifying this, and there's a lot more to dive into when it comes to
That's for maybe another stream another day.
exactly. Good stuff. So I do have, hardwired all the way. That actually applies to your internet connection too. So for the longest time, I was battling with all kinds of Wi-Fi things that are also moody and ever changing, depending on the place, depending on where you are on your internet provider and how many people are using your Wi-Fi. And once you get wired, like a lot of those things kind of go away, and you get much more stable connection. So yeah, wired all around definitely makes a lot of sense. And so definitely a lot of great comments about the arm. So a couple of comments right here.
That's another great way to improve audio quality too, is simply the distance. People sometimes ask, like, oh, there's too much background noise, there's too much of this, too much of that. One of the best ways to get better sound is just literally move the mic closer to you. And one of the easiest ways to do that is with the mic arm, obviously, is just move the mic closer. It could be over here. Probably doesn't sound too good. However, if you move it over here, now you've got that much richer sound. And a mic arm makes that easy. And it goes for any microphone, dynamic, condenser, a Bluetooth mic, whatever you've got going on. Anytime there's audio, the closer you are to the microphone, the better you're going to sound. And that also means you can reduce the volume or the gain of the mic. And that means less background noise, maybe less keyboard sound, etc. I do see a good, interesting question here. Why aren't Elgato employees using Wave mics? So I am using a Wave product, but I'm not using a Wave mic. So I'm actually using a Wave XLR right now. So this is a XLR microphone. This is a no, not an SM70. What am I talking about? This is a RE20, and that's an XLR mic going into a Wave XLR. So that allows me to use this very high-end microphone with a Wave XLR, with the Wavelink software, and you guys can hear that. So yeah, I don't know why I was thinking the SM7. This is the RE20.
Yeah. And I'm not part of Elgato, so that's why I'm using this mic. But I am actually thinking about upgrading, because I'm really thinking that the arm that you guys have is going to kind of elevate the quality of my stream. It's going to look much better on the stream. This is more of a podcaster mic, which we purchased a long time ago. So maybe it is time for me to upgrade as well. So maybe I'll win the mic at some point.
Yep.
Yeah, amazing. So let's get back to the Stream Deck. So there were a lot of questions about Stream Decks earlier today, and I think there was one, if I'm able to find it at all, about the mobile application for is there going to be like a mobile Stream Deck or anything of that sort? While I'm looking for that comment,
we
here
have
go.
a Stream Deck mobile, yeah. So if you have a phone, and this one works on iPhone and Android, or iOS and Android, you can get a 30-day free trial, and you essentially get all of the Stream Deck functionality just right on your mobile device. You get 15 keys, you can tap on them, and you can use them as you would a physical Stream Deck device, and that way you can explore if this is the device that you need, if it does what you want. Some of the plugins that we have, of which I think we have we're at close to over 200 plugins now in the Stream Deck store, so you can control pretty much anything. Yeah, so that's on both iOS and Android with a free 30-day free trial.
Awesome. And there is another one here on Stream Deck. Any thoughts about a slider deck to accompany the Wave XLR? Slider deck.
A slider deck, as in like
Yeah.
using faders or something like that?
Yeah, if you can
Uh,
elaborate on that a little bit, Wim, because yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I know what that is, but I'm not a big expert in stream decks. I just know how like the regular one with buttons look. So yeah, if you let us know what exactly that means and how that would look, but yeah, I was like,
Faders would certainly be interesting, you know. Stream Deck right now is only keys. We're always looking at, again, what we could do to, you know, to add to the Stream Deck family, to add to the ecosystem. So, faders would be certainly quite interesting. But again, as with
yeah,
any product updates, product features, can't exactly say what we're doing or when or why or how or, you know.
right. People are saying I want faders, and there's also a question about which. Okay, the XLR, I want faders. Is Elgato exploring creating COB lights with softbox and grids? Light is our next topic, so we are. That's a nice and smooth transition as we go.
Um, I can't say specifically. However, I think there's like actually been some 3D designs, like 3D print designs of grids that attach to something like a key light. So that would be, um, that's something you can do, but I don't think we're specifically exploring cob lights. And I see Toro, what Max said, faders on the XLR, not the deck. Yeah, but imagine if you had faders on a Stream Deck and you can control the two together and be modular and not just. So, you know, there's lots of cool things. There's lots of cool things that could be done. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's transition to our basically last piece of conversation as we're wrapping up, and that's about lights. So one of the things I like to tell people who are relatively new to live streaming is that light is probably the next most important thing after your audio, because I like to give an example of and invite people to imagine the best camera in the world that you'll be using in complete darkness. I assure you the quality will be pretty limited, and the experience is probably going to be pretty miserable. While when you have a very, let's say, on budget, not very expensive, not very complicated, but a decent web camera, but you have great lights, the quality of your video goes up exponentially. So how are you lighting it up, right? Like, so there's so many different options that Elgato is offering. Their key lights, their ring lights. What's your personal favorite, Phil? What do you recommend people get started with, and where do they transition as they're getting more and more into live streaming?
lighting is quite simply down to like science and physics, right? There's really, if you have bad lighting, there's no way your camera's gonna look good, no matter what camera you have. Um, Starting off, it's really simple. It's like if you have a window next to you, you know, make sure the blinds are open. If you've got a overhead light or a room light, you know, make sure that's on. And then once you have exhausted those options, then it's down to, okay, how do you get a light that actually points directly at you? You know, how do you get something that makes sure that you're bright enough? If you use a green screen, make sure that the green screen is bright enough so the chroma key works. All of that fanciness. And in my setup here specifically, I'm using two key lights. So I have one on the left side, one on the right side. Of course, those are set up with control centers. So if I wanted to, I could turn them off. And now you can see my setup is a little bit darker. It's just not as vibrant, you know, like the Facecam is now still doing a great job of keeping the video quality high. But if I turn on those lights, it now just looks, you know, I look a little bit better. My whole setup looks a little bit brighter, and the Facecam looks even better. So, you know, lighting, there's no magic to it in a way for a camera. It's like even a laptop cam could look good if you provide it with good lighting. Now, okay, everything still has its limits there, but you know, if you basically are in a pitch black room, yeah, there's no way you're gonna have a good looking camera no matter what. So,
Yeah.
you know, we have a couple solutions there. I'm actually checking. I don't think we have. Do we have a sale? We do have a sale of up to 25% on the key light right now on Amazon and Best Buy for our North American customers. If you go on the Elgato website, you can check out other locations that we've got a deal going on. But essentially, you know, adding dedicated lights like key lights that are a big source of light. So, you know, there are some lights that are very small it's almost like a flashlight. Those will just create a spot. What you really want is a big light, a big panel that kind of makes light go everywhere. And that's why key light is such a big panel. We also have the key light air, which is, you know, a little bit smaller, but it'll still get the job done. And then we also have ring light, which is just a different type of, I mean, it looks a little bit different. It creates those kind of halos in your eyes. And you can put the camera in the middle and it just creates a little bit of a different effect, right? Um, all of those are all Wi-Fi controlled too, which makes them really nice because, you can see me sitting here. I can turn on and off the lights, control the brightness without actually having to, get up and adjust them manually, which is, as a content creator, that's important, right? If you need to adjust dynamically on the fly to something that's going on, you can do that either right on the desktop or, hey, even via your Stream Deck, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll share my favorite thing about Elgato Stream Deck. I'm just going to maximize myself. I definitely greatly appreciate the fact that you can control. Some folks were saying like, "Oh, my lights are overexposed." So if you're using Elgato app, just as Phil was demoing earlier today, yeah, you can always adjust. Like here's me being like literally very overexposed, and then I can kind of go down and get a little bit of different shades and different sides. I also use two key lights because I really believe in this kind of like a 2-point thing when one is my main face light and the other one is kind of like the backlight. And sometimes I like to have a little bit of the backlight behind. I have a couple of like different very simple lights there as well. But yeah, the two key lights has been the setup that really worked well for me. But the ring lights are cool too because they have this cool effect around your eye, right? Like when you have this
Yep.
kind of like shiny Instagram model-like look. And some people think that's kind of crazy, especially if you're wearing glasses. I think it could be a little distracting and hard to manage, but for a lot of people, it's really cool. I have a question here from Paul. He's asking, I may have missed this, but on the ring light, is there any easy option to raise the height of where the camera is mounted? I remember struggling with this a little bit with our studio in Kiev. Do you have any insights on that, Phil?
So the light itself comes with a pole mount that you can, adjust up or down. The camera inside of the light, that just comes with a mount piece, and so you would put the camera on there. If you need that part raised itself, we don't have an extension piece for it. However, the threading that's used on that screw is just a regular 1/4-inch, thread. It's like a very industry standard thing. So I think if you were to go on something like Amazon and look for like a 1/4-inch, like a riser, you'd probably be able to find something there. But that
Yeah.
is yeah, that would probably be the easiest solution there. I personally haven't found yet that it's too low because again, I just raised the entire ring light. But in your case, yeah, I think just like if you look for like a 1/4-inch threaded like riser extender, you would probably find the right piece there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And more questions about all kinds of control. Yeah, like so Elgato has this app that's on your phone. This is very, very helpful. And there is a question about a foot pedal. Elgato foot pedal, I guess that could apply to a lot of different controls, including the lights. Is there anything like that, guys, that you have offer thinking about? That sounds interesting.
We do not make a foot pedal, no.
Yeah.
I think your option there is using something like Stream Deck Mobile or just putting a Stream Deck on your desk.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
absolutely. Yeah, that's amazing. There's so many great comments here and so many great like tips and advice. Also, there are questions and also things like what camera team is saying. Light size, distance, and dispersion are the main factors that contribute in the light softness. Fun facts: brightness has nothing to do with softness, and the closer light it is to you, the softer it is. Yeah, that's interesting. I actually didn't know those details. I also like that Elgato app gives you like this warm versus cold thing. That's
yep.
something I actually wanted to demo. Like I personally prefer it to be kind of like more cool. I think it looks a little better on me, but a lot of people prefer it to be warmer. And actually, sometimes kind of depending on the background, depending on how things look and how many people you have together, like those are really cool ones. So yeah, like the temperature of your stream is also interesting. And a lot of times I see, especially in gaming setups, when people actually make the background really dark. So like I have a lot going on behind me, but a lot of times people just have basically this dark room and like all lights is on them and they kind of like emerge from that dark space and it creates this kind of dramatic effect, which is also very cool and interesting. Yeah. Awesome. So I think it is about time for us to wrap up, and we will be
Yes.
picking 2 random winners of our face cams. So how are we going to do this? Last time we tried to do some trivia and questions, but this time we're just going to make it pure luck. So the only thing that might help you a little bit is if you send us more messages and more comments and questions during that stream, you just statistically will have higher chance, because I'm just going to roll through the chat and just kind of like blindly pick one comment, and that person is going to win. Oh, look at this, more. Oh my god, guys, you guys are hilarious. So I'm
Wait,
just
hold
gonna...
on. I think at least in the Elgato chat, we still had an old one going because we have !Vegas. That is not actually how you enter the giveaway. So guys, ignore that.
All right, sounds good.
That
Yeah,
was
I'm
a
just gonna
previous one.
yeah, I'm just gonna scroll through and just basically pick a random winner. So it's gonna be one person from Elgato community. Luckily, we are pairing for this stream, so we're using the new Restream feature called Restream Pairs, when you can connect your channels as a guest. So Phil is my guest, and he came and connected the channel. So I know exactly who's coming from Elgato community versus who's coming from Restream community, and we are going to pick the random winner. So we'll start with community from Elgato, and I'm just kind of sort of scrolling through, and the winner that I have is literally very random, is Tease Monkey. All right. So and the comment that's the comment that I stopped on. So Tease Monkey, you are the winner of Facecam and Restream Professional for a year. So in terms of how to get to reach out to us, you just need to contact our customer support. It's support chat on Restream.io, and just let them know that you are a winner of Elgato giveaway, Restream and Elgato giveaway, and they will upgrade you right away. You will need to create a free account in order to get upgraded. And Phil, how do they get in touch with you guys?
Send us, I believe, just send us a message here, or like on Twitch. Send the Elgato Gaming a message, and then I will also make sure your name is marked down, and that way we'll get all your shipping details and then send you out the Facecam. Anya, I do want to put you on the spot though. When is Restream adding a giveaway feature like this with combined chats from multiple different sources?
I know, that's a big one. That's actually a good question. And one of the big things that we are going to do moving forward in 2022 is to make a huge push on more interactive features in the chat. So we already have this awesome chat overlay that you're seeing on the screen, how chats are running, so everyone can see that. So we are going to be working on giveaway features as well as polling features. So more engagement, more interactive, more community-driven streams. That's our goal for 2022. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, definitely giveaway features and polling features are kind of on top of that list, in addition to many other things. So that was a good one, good plug. All right, and I already scrolled through and picked a random winner from Restream community. It's going to be a YouTube comment from Thomas, Marketing Autopilot. I actually like the name. This is really cool. So this is kind of in relations to how we talked about the audio versus video, how 20% are looking at you and 80% are just hearing you. I thought it was a cool comment, interesting stats. And Thomas, you are the winner of Facecam and a Restream Professional for a year. So please reach out to Restream customer support and Elgato to claim your prize. And I'll also send y'all's information to Phil and to our support team so they know what to expect. Awesome. So those are our winners. So many great comments today. Such a great stream. Such a great conversation. Just a quick reminder that Elgato right now is running, and I'm going to just get rid of the chat so we have this kind of highlighted. Elgato is running great Black Friday sale. You just go to elgato.com/English/Black Friday. But actually, if you just go to elgato.com, you cannot miss that. That Black Friday sale is all over the map. So you are definitely you're definitely going to find a lot of great deals there, including Facecam, $50 off, as well as some DSLRs and arms. I mean, the microphones, the XLRs, and some arms. And on Restream side of things, we are running our best deal of the year. It's 50% off all Restream plans if you're purchasing the annual plan. That's good for new customers and everyone who is upgrading from current plan to a higher plan. So 50% off, it is our best deal of the year. The next one like this is going to be next year. Today's the last day, Cyber Monday. So please check it out. The code is BFCM2021, and you can also find it all over Restream.io. So this was awesome, Phil. Thank you so very much for your time and for great insights on the gear.
Absolutely. My
Yeah.
pleasure. I always enjoy having our chats. We should do this again.
We will. So it became kind of our annual tradition. So every year in like November, December, we go live together and talk about gear and Restream. So we probably should do a little summer one next time, or maybe spring one. So stay tuned for that. It was a pleasure to see all the community members. Elgato guys, you guys were so amazing. So many comments and chats. Restream community, big hugs and kudos to you all as well. And I am going to just play a quick little Restream demo as the end of this, and we're wrapping up. Thanks again for all your time, great comments, and lots of love. Black Friday, Cyber Monday today. Don't miss out. Get you geared up and elevate the levels of your streams. Happy live streaming, everyone.
Bye.